Hey friend, have you ever asked yourself, why me? God, why me? I don't do anything to anybody. Why me? We'll be right back. God bless you. Thank you for joining the smart show that's presenting morning nuggets. Prayerfully, this video finds you exceptionally well. You saw the title. Have you ever asked yourself, Lord, why me? Or maybe you know someone who is struggling with that. People are in a state of depression and sad all the time, and they feel like they have nothing to look forward to because everything they had or loved may have been taken away. There are a lot of reasons why people are depressed, but more notably, people are depressed because of a loss of a loved one. That's like one of the number ones, especially from my experience dealing with other people and ministering to other people and befriending other people who have lost loved ones. And you can just see the toll that it takes on an individual. Now, this is kind of somewhat a video talking about depression and sadness, if you will. I've made a couple videos over the last few months about it. And I started it last year around the holidays because a lot of people get depressed around the holidays because their loved ones that were once there are not going to be there during the holiday. But I say that people not only get depressed around the holidays, but they get depressed throughout the year. So I just didn't want to wait for the holidays just to talk about this. I want to talk about this throughout the year because you never know that the word that the Lord has given me to give out, you never know who it might help or who it might encourage. And if I wait until, November, December, that person might not be able to hold on that long. So, we just let God use us. I want to talk about it a little bit today. I don't want to go too fast, but a lot of people are sad and they are depressed, and it's really difficult for them to get up in the morning. I've talked to these people and they've questioned God, they've questioned the validity of God. And a lot of them say, I don't do anything to no one. I've never done anything. I've always been a good tax-paying citizen, a law-abiding citizen, don't bother nobody. Why are all these bad things happening to me? I just don't understand. Many of you may have asked yourself that if you've had some bad experiences. Many of you know people, you might know someone who have those questions. And as I stated in the video before, I think it was called God, Are You Mad at Me? I cannot answer everything because God has all the answers. He really does. But hopefully I can help you cope with it. Whatever I say won't be able to bring that loved one back, right? It may not be able to change what has happened, but it certainly would be able to change your perspective and give you some source of strength and encouragement to go on. Let's talk about it. First of all, you got to know that God is with you. And I know you might not be feeling that right now if you're going through, but God is with you. Just think, if God wasn't with you, things could be much worse. You wouldn't be able to function. So just know that God is with you. Deuteronomy 31:8 says, He will be with you. He said He'll even go before you. Even during your rough time, your rough moment, God will be with you and take you through. He said He'll never leave you nor forsake you. Then He says, don't be discouraged. Yes. And in other words, you might get discouraged, you might get down, and you might get down and out, but don't let it overtake you. Don't let discouragement, don't let the sadness, don't let the depression operate and run your life. You may say, Pastor Nate, it hadn't happened to you. You don't know what you're talking about. I understand that. I don't know your story, but I do know that having God on your side will make a difference. Yes, it will. And you might say, is He really with me? Is God really with me? All these things that are happening to me, is you got the nerve to tell me God is with me, and I'm studying losing things. I'm studying going through these things. Friend, as hard as it is, and as hard as it may seem to you, God is still with you. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm trying to be as empathetic as I can to minister this word to you. And just know, when I say I'm not trying to be insensitive, I want to say this, that you're not the only one going through this. There are many people. See, when we came into this world, or when we became a believer, it wasn't promised that we were going to see, it was going to be a walk in the park. It wasn't promised that it was going to be peaches and cream. We are going through some tribulations. I've experienced some unfortunate situation, but it didn't change how I feel about the Lord. I know God is in control, and His will is going to be done, whether I like it or not. A lot of times I don't agree with what God's will is, right? But I just have to surrender and say, yes, Lord, if that's what you want. It's a hard pill to swallow, but you in control. We just have to swallow that pill and trust God anyway. Yes, so you might ask yourself, or you might challenge me and contend and say, you're saying God is loving, you saying God is with me, but I lost my child unexpectedly, I lost my job, or I'm getting repossessions, my cars and my houses, and just all kind of things are happening to me. Life is not worth living, you may even ask yourself, but just know that God is with you. And the scripture says in Psalms 34:19, many are the affliction. Woo, friend, do you hear what I say this morning? Many are the affliction of the righteous one, but the Lord delivers them out of them all. Friend, lift up your head and trust God. You deserve happiness. You deserve it. What is done, right? We can't cry over spilt milk, and we can't bring those things back, in many cases, especially if it's a loved one. And you have to think, if that loved one that you lost, will that person want you to mope around and go around with your head down, or that person will want you to maybe to enjoy the memory and be happy, right? Our loved ones would want us to be happy. Don't let death of a loved one rob you of your happiness. And I'm saying death because I know that's the number one thing that causes people to be depressed, among other things, but I know death it's kind of up there. I remember a friend here a few years ago, still my friend to this day, lost a loved one and just say, Nate, I can't make it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I was there every step of the way. Was there at the funeral, even after the funeral. To make a long story short, I called, I went up there and visit. I spent the night, was at this person's disposal, took the person out to eat to try to be a source of strength. And it was like that process went on for like a year. Yeah, some people, the grieving, it takes a year. Sometimes it's 2 years. Sometimes people don't ever get over it. And just because you don't get over it doesn't mean that you have to kind of let it get you down. But some people don't get over to the point where they stay in a state of depression. But anyways, I stuck with this individual for a year. Still my friend to this day, I check and go over it, but not as much now because this person is able to kind of go on his own. Just to make a long story short, seeing this person through. And right now, this person's at a stage where can function now and go back into the normal life, do the day-to-day things now. And every time I go over there, brother, you need something, just throw me $100 bill, a $50 bill, a $40 bill. Every time I go, I'm like, brother, you don't have to do this. Oh yeah, I appreciate you, because when I didn't see my way through and I couldn't go, you were there for me. And he'll tell you, it wasn't family members. I couldn't count on my family, but you were there. You came over and fed me, took me out, spent the night, whatever I needed, because I don't know what I would have done. And so now every time I go there, it's just like, here, just appreciative. And I thank God that God was able to use me. So what am I saying? If you're going through that, or if you know somebody who's going through that, be a friend to that person. You might want to get a friend that you can vent to and cry to and scream and holler just to help you get through it. God uses people, yes. So get with you a friend that you can trust. And if that doesn't work, you might want to go to counseling. Talk to somebody professional about it. But there are options. God has put the tools and techniques in place for us when we go through these things that we can rely on, because these things are going to happen, y'all. We're going to lose some stuff. We're going to experience some stuff. But let me tell you, you are more than a conqueror, and you can have the victory. Friend, if that's you, lift up your head. And if you know somebody who is going through this, send this video to them. Pastor Nate is trying to help. He doesn't care about the numbers or who all going to view this. If it's one person, if it's two people that this will help, that's worth it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. It will be in the description. And also, I'll put the hotline number in the video. In the meantime, in between time, you need to be at peace and not in pieces. And hold your head up. Till next time, my friend.